What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I got to have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me? This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up to my friends and family? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for holding me down. What's happening, family? Let me see if I turn this on. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we cooking. Now we got fish grease popping. What's the word, friends? I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm so motion, trying to figure it out every single day. Back in the city, got so much. You know, the one thing about when you go out of town is you got to come back and you basically got to deal with everything. First thing you got to do is you got to unpack, you got to wash, right? You got to take care of all of that. And you basically got to repack because you're going to be right back out the door in another 7 days. So I got to deal with that, right? All of that. And then the next thing that you got to do after that is you got to handle all of the business. So today I have to go to a hearing at one of the cities, at one of the Metro Detroit cities. So one of the cities outside of the city where I own property. And apparently I bought property. I'm a documented for the Patreon members. I also dropped a video for Bag Chasers on the Patreon. So if y'all have not watched that video, it specifically details. It's almost like an update to Interview Like a King. And so I teach y'all my tactics of what I would use because I'm not working anymore. Obviously, I retired for the second time. But I teach all the tactics that I use to be able to land the positions that y'all want. You know what I'm saying? Even in a recession, even during layoffs, it works. It works in every situation, right? And so a lot of people are doing it wrong. I'm not going to say the details on here. A lot of people are doing it wrong. A lot of people are mass supplying. They got all of this stuff. But this teaches you how to, because contrary to popular belief, even if a company lays off, they still hiring. They just not hiring for the positions that they getting rid of. And so they always looking for talent. And it's a lot to it, right? And so I broke it down. This is when I was in Manchester. I shot it in Manchester, broke it down, and I dropped it for the Bag Chasers. And so giving y'all a lot of information, Y'all need to go and watch that. That one is for everybody. Literally, if you work, it's for you. So you need to go and check that out. But coming back here, I gotta go to a city hearing today at 6 o'clock. I guess I gotta go before they city council or whatever like that because I bought a property. And I bought a property in August of 2025. Actually, I bought multiple properties, and they were all clustered together. So it was one. And I bought a bunch of property in August in 2025 at the county tax auction. And so I outbid everybody else. I paid a lot of money, over $100,000 for the properties that I plan on building on. And so I was going through the process of pulling a permit so that we could start to build on these properties. And then they contacted me and was like, oh, wait a minute, before you build on these properties, you owe us $28,000. And so I said, well, why would I owe you $28,000? And I bought it at the tax auction and I paid everything, including whatever fees and taxes and all of this stuff in order to own a property outright. And so they was like, well, we went back, and in 2024, it used to be a house on one of those properties, and the city had to tear the house down. What does that got to do with me? So this is a bill for $28,000 for us having to tear the house down. And I said, oh, no, freaky Jason. Nope. No. Nah, well, that's not what we're going to do. We're not going to finesse Anton from AntonDaniels.com. That's not my responsibility. They said, well, we billed the previous owner of the property and they never paid it. So that's going to have to go over to you. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You're not going to bill me a year later for what you did, and you should have built. Go and chase down the people that owned the house before us or owned the land before us, and y'all as a city had to tear the property down. That's what made it more marketable, and why I paid a premium for the property itself is because it didn't have anything on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't have nothing to do with me. And so they was like, well, you know, if we're going to bill you, and so if you don't pay it, then we're going to just roll it into your property tax. No. We're going to roll it into your property tax. I said, nah, set up a hearing. I'm going to get my people, get my lawyer, do whatever it is that I got to do. And y'all got to take that L. Y'all already getting the property taxes from me actually building in here. And I'm about to spend $500,000 probably per property building these houses on here. So stop trying to finesse me and don't fleece me. So I got a hearing today. That's another reason why I had to get back on Sunday, because I got a hearing today on Monday, to where I got to go before the city and do all of that type of stuff. So these are the type of things that you got to deal with as a business owner, as a real estate developer, as a property. My problems, and so you got to be careful what you ask for, because my problems are not $300 problems. They're not $3,000 problems. I have $28,000 problems. I have $100,000 problems. I got lawyer fees. I got all kind of stuff. I got payroll. I have big problems. You know what I'm saying, that I got to deal with. And the thing about it is that when you start to get into these spheres, you got to hire the right professionals. You got to hire the right people to represent you, because I don't half step and I don't do anything halfway. So it's almost like you got to start playing with the big boys nowadays, because there are snakes in every single corner, politics. You talking about people asking for money for their campaigns. You talking about you know what I'm saying? Like, it's you get to a different level, and what you realize is that it's the same thing on the lower level, except for you just using bigger numbers. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bigger number. And so now I understand where it say, be faithful over little, and then I'll make you ruler over much, because you have to learn how to be able to navigate the small stuff before you get to the big stuff. And you have to have a business mindset. Otherwise, then people are going to take advantage of you. So lots going on there. I think it's disrespectful, honestly. And cities is going to try to fleece you no matter how they can. And instead of them looking at the long-term investment that comes along with doing business with you, they want to take advantage of you. So I don't like that. Very much pisses me off, and it aggravates me. What is this? Oh, man. So anyways, what's going on with y'all? How y'all doing? How's everybody going so far? We got a lot to cover today. We got a Chicago shooting. We have the White House Correspondents shooting. We have the Michigan rapper that's charged. I know y'all want to talk about that. The Louisiana governor. Everybody pissed at the Louisiana governor because he went off on YNs and black people. Meta layoffs. Woman robbing a store. The Paige Shivers full interview dropped. Millionaire's tax in Illinois. Lots going on. Lots happening. And it's a man that's trapped in Japan. And he being accused of something sexual. So you said you've been sick as a dog. Rough day, but getting through it, AD. Yeah, we all trying to figure it out. All right, y'all. Let me look at some of these cash apps, and then we're going to go from there. Hold on. Let me see what's happening. Shout out to Mike, that dude in the building. I appreciate you, Mike, that dude. Yeah, lawyers is always a good investment. That's going to be your biggest investment when you start getting real money. Mike, that dude, I appreciate you. Spencer Campbell says, good morning, AD and the Bag Chasers. I appreciate you, Spencer Campbell. Keith Brown says, or Keith B-Town, 97 B-Town says, good morning. That stage Saturday night. You talking about the White House Correspondents dinner? All right, well, let's talk about it. Let me pull it up.
We don't know the motive of the gunman at this hour, but we do know a man charged a security checkpoint at the Hilton where the White House Correspondents' dinner was taking place. You see the video on your screen. And he was charging toward a room full of journalists, politicians, and the President of the United States. Inside that room, because this has become so common in America, you have people that are multiple-time victims of political violence. Erica Kirk was in the room. People saw her in tears. Steve Scalise was a table away from me. That's the reason I'm wearing a tuxedo here as well. He was a victim of political violence. And then, of course, you have the president himself. That is the context for what we're talking about tonight. And we also know more about the specifics on the gunman himself. Matt, you've been looking into that.
We do have a name right now, Tony. It is Cole Thomas Allen, 31, from Torrance, California, just south of Los Angeles. Our understanding so far is that he has no known criminal record. We don't know much more other than the pictures we are now seeing of him being taken down, hands shackled behind him, zip-tied, face down. We do know that he brought at least 2 weapons in, a shotgun and a handgun. He was able to fire some of them, as you saw him sprint through that security cordon towards that room that was closed off, sealed, as the president had just said, with many, many hundreds of journalists, VIPs, and politicians inside. We don't have a motive, but we don't exactly know what his target was at this moment.
We don't have a moment. We have the context, and I'll give you another note on the context here. There's the pattern of political violence with other politicians for many years now. We've had these conversations, it seems like every other week sometimes. And on the way out, as we were all escorted out, forced down one particular pathway, there are protesters. It is a free speech event. Protest is a free speech right. One of the signs that I saw on the way out said, "Death to tyrants, death to them all."
So let's start there for a second. So why is it that when people do crazy things that y'all automatically say that everything is staged? I don't think that anybody is ever going to be okay with the fact that things just are whatever it is that they are. First of all, he was moving with the speed of an Olympic sprinter. But more importantly, why is everything? They never said that he got close. They said that, you know, he actually sprinted through that whole situation, that he shot somebody, that he shot one of the agents. And then after he shot one of the agents, of course, obviously he was apprehended or whatever like that. And people can get lax, people can get too relaxed or all of that type of stuff. But my point is, why would it be staged? What exactly? Did you see how fast he was moving? Dude was moving fast as hell. What exactly is it that y'all think was staged? Somebody said, how was the security so bad for Trump? They caught him. What do you mean, how was the security so bad for Trump? They caught him. For some reason, y'all don't think that there could be bad people in the world. I don't know what the problem is. You know what the problem is? Let me tell you what the problem is. The problem is that Trump is too transparent. That's it. Assassination attempts, things happen to people all the time. All the time. The only difference is that Trump is the first president to speak about it immediately and to give praise to the military, give praise to the agents or whatever. But if they stopped it from happening, then what do y'all think was staged? This is Trump speaking on it specifically.
Well, thank you very much. That was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now. Put out on Truth and put out on many other platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape. He is has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building, and I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different, because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police, and we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to, and you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story, and in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I asked that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched I watched and I was very, very impressed by that. But we were, First Lady and I were taken very well care of very quickly, rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was likewise beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche to come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway.
Sometimes people are just crazy. Actually, it's so funny. Let me go back to this. That's the guy right there, a black man. It used to be, usually we used to automatically assume that it was white people that was the ones that was at the front of this. But it just so happened to be a black man. And his profile is, his name is Cole Allen. Cole Allen's from Torrance, California. All right, so the first reason why I know that this is not staged, the first reason that I know that this is not staged is because he's from California. That's the first clue on why it's not staged. California, 31 years old, Torrance, California, and the dude went all the way over to Florida to the White House Correspondents' Dinner just so you can get arrested. Just so you can get arrested. You a fool. You a fool. All of y'all are fools. And I bet you he was indoctrinated by social media. I heard that Trump actually spoke on this. Let me see if I can pull it up in a more extended interview. And again, this is why I think that, oh no, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it because this is for 60 minutes and 60 minutes really don't care for you actually playing their stuff. So I'm not going to play it at all. But my point is that sometimes people are just crazy. And all he did, yep, you're right. All he did was give him an opportunity so that he can promote his ballroom. And Trump never lets any negative situation, any amount of press, any visibility not go. He's always going to capitalize off of the visibility, negative or positive. Bro, the assassination attempt, as bad as it was, wind up being one of the most memorable moments of the 2000s. I know that when the assassination attempt originally happened to Trump, right? Back in 2024, when the presidential election was going on, and I think it was a summer. And the reason why I pretty much think it was a summer is because I know I was outside. And was it that day or was that the Charlie Kirk situation? Either way, I remember that I dipped off to my studio because I was outside doing what I was doing. And then I ran over to the studio and then I fired up the computer because I knew it was time to live stream because they had an assassination attempt on Trump. Whatever time of the year it was, I believe it was warmer outside. But when that assassination attempt happened, I know that the Democrats was pissed. Absolutely pissed. 1,000% pissed. Because you know what it did? It made him a mega star. It was like, oh, he really is the Teflon Don. He really is living up to his name, the Teflon Don. Not only did he overcome y'all still in the election, not only did he beat out the entire field of Republicans that was trying to become, president of the United States of America also. Not only did he overcome in 2016 when people never took him serious. I didn't even take him serious in 2016. I didn't think that he was trying to become president. I thought he was marketing himself. And then he survives an assassination attempt on live TV. Yo, that was one of the biggest moments ever. And the reason why it was one of the biggest moments ever is because he didn't cower down. He was like, when he was walking away, he was like, fight. And he had the blood coming down his face and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is the biggest moment in history. And so Trump, regardless of whether something is going good or if it's going bad, he's always going to take advantage of the moment. He's going to take advantage of the moment. And unfortunately, see, Coach Chris says, Cap, this was all propaganda. Cool. Well, guess what? You're never going to please everybody, regardless of what you may think or regardless of what you may say. You're never, A, going to please everybody. That's number one. And number two, people are going to be upset and they're going to react. And even when the people say, oh man, I don't believe that it's happening, you know what they're doing? They talking. They talking. And you know what happens when they talk? You go into the algorithm, and that's why I'm changing my name to Algorithm Daniels. They promote you. They bring visibility to you. That's why Kamala Harris at the time and them, they didn't want to say nothing about it. They made their statement. They had to make a statement, but they didn't want to talk about it because they knew it. I think at that moment, they knew it was over. At that moment, they knew that it was over because it was like, oh, he really is infamous. He really is the infamous Teflon Don. And so regardless of whether y'all like him or not, you can't deny. Do you know what politics is? Politics is motion. That's all it is. You know why they need to have donors is because they're trying to create artificial motion. They're trying to create a space to where they can continue to promote themselves so that they can stay in power. And then ultimately, that is the thing that's going to generate all of the revenue. That's all politics is. Politics, y'all should have learned this in high school. Y'all should have learned this in high school. You should have learned it with the mock elections. You should have learned it with the student elections. You should have learned it with all of that stuff. High school should have taught you that popularity is more important. Visibility and popularity is more important than being great. That's all it is. You know why Maxine Waters is still going to be running in California? Not because she's the best person or the best candidate to continue to be in Congress. It's because her name is Maxine Waters. And when you think Maxine Waters, regardless of whether you think good or you think bad, it is there. We got nicknames for people. We don't even call them their real names anymore. Alexandria Cortez. No, we call her AOC. We call her, you got to find a good slogan, a good nickname, right? A good slogan, a good nickname that's going to stick. And then if you learn how to market it, now you should still be doing a good job, but doing a good job is not the minimum, is not the main thing that you should be focused on as far as, that's why you can't get promoted at work because you don't know what you're doing. You so busy trying to piss people off by telling them why you need a promotion instead of helping them to understand that they can't live without you. I can't breathe without you. That's why your girl don't like you. Your girl don't like you not because you're not a good man, not because you don't pay the bills, not because you don't take advantage of it, but because you don't know how to package it correctly. You're packaging yourself incorrectly and you're not marketing yourself effectively. That's all it is. You don't market yourself effectively. And so you don't understand that is applicable in life. Highlight the wins, minimize the losses, take advantage of all visibility. That's the name of the game. Highlight the wins, minimize the losses, take advantage of all visibility. All publicity, all visibility can be great. Can be, not is, but can be if you leverage it and use it effectively. And because you don't get it, you don't get it. There's a ton of rappers, and me and Slimmy argue about this all the time, right? And there's a ton of rappers, and they be going, they lyrical miracle because umbilical, I'm gonna cut my umbilical, send you to the spiritual most high. All of them must die. Put them in the body bag. All of them must fly. See him in the streets, and I gotta get you two to it. And if you don't see me in the streets, I ain't new to it. I'm just sitting in the cut, laying in the spot, slanging on the, and I'm moving on the rock. It's the rock. Stop. Hit you when you're noggin. You don't want to see me because I'm on the clocking. It's a lot of lyrical miracle because I'm spiritual biblical, and I hit you with the minutes and you want it's a miracle. I'm a priest now. It's a lot of them dudes out there. They on every corner. They on every vlog. They on every rapper. You know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? Is that they don't know how to market themselves and they don't know how to come up with a good hook. They don't know how to resonate. You know what I'm saying? Because as much as people say, because Drake, for example, Drake can rap. But you know what hit? I went a hotline bling. Hotline bling. I can only mean one thing. Ever since I hit the city, you. Because the ladies be like, oh, because the ladies they want to dance. They want to dance. You don't know how to market yourself effectively. And then you got to throw in the extra stuff you got to do now. Now you got to learn how to move around social media. Now you got to know how to have the girls talking about you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's a reason why I don't have no Ooga Boogers on my live streams. All of them. You can pick chocolate, caramel, light skin, dark skin. All of them is gorgeous in their own way. All of them is pretty. All of them is pretty. You can't get on my panel looking like a POS. You know why? Because that's bad for my image. And then I see these other panels, they try to get some little dusty girls up there, and I'd be like, that girl ain't smart and she ugly at the same time. And all of the guys be in the chat saying, oh my God, you're so gorgeous. You're so gorgeous. Because you don't know how to market yourself effectively. I know how to market myself effectively. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I don't even like talking to people when they don't smell good. I can't focus on what you got going on because you don't smell good. You want a promotion? Take care of yourself. Look cute. Keep on talking. I need to upgrade my skill set. I need to make sure that I go and get into this new class. I want to get a new degree. Ugly girls get degrees all the time. And you know what ugly girls get? Fired. And y'all don't want to have a real talk. Okay, it's cool. We ain't got to talk about it. We can go politically correct. We can go politically correct. If you want to get a promotion, lose some weight. You can see a dude walking down the street, the way that he dressed, the way that he talked, the way that he walked, and how well he's groomed. And you can say, you know what? I could see him as the leader of the company. That makes sense. If you want to get a promotion, start being nice, start looking good, start smelling good, get your teeth whitened and invest in yourself. Because marketing yourself, similar to what's going on right here with Trump, marketing yourself is just as important as the work you do. Now, that don't mean that you can't be great at what you do, but you still need to fix yourself, because everything, when you step out the door, is marketing. Everything, every interaction matters. Every interaction matters. I can't go down the street driving around in a beat up car. You know why? Because that don't bode well for the Millionaire Morning Show brand. It don't bode well for the Millionaire Morning Show brand. At all. Like, for example, somebody, wanted to, they trying to trade, they want to, but see, I understand the marketing of it. My girl can go in any room, and you know what she does? She brings me business. And every time she leave out of the room, they say, oh man, she's so sweet. She's so nice. She's so awesome. Everybody that had never met her at a meetup, oh my God, she's so nice. She's so awesome. She's so sweet. She's the sweetest person ever. And then they start holding me accountable. AD, you better be a good person. But see, I use that as leverage so that I could get more visibility, and then I'm gonna go ahead and capitalize off of it. That's what, see, you're calling her the queen already. I didn't make the rules. I didn't make the rules. I just learned how to play the game more effectively than you. I didn't make the rules. I just learned how to play more effectively than you. Now, this is the thing that you need to ask yourself, person that I had to get up out of here, because, you know, we don't tolerate disrespect. Here's the thing that I need to ask. You need to ask yourself, why are you so broke? Is it because you don't know how to market yourself? Is it because you don't surround yourself with the right type of people? Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I always look at broke people and I learn what not to do. And then I look at people with resources and I say, wait a minute, how they playing that game a little differently? TS Car Wash and Detail Service says you heard them speaking about you on. Listen, TS. You have to just let me teach you something. All right. You have to be very specific and very intentional. If you ask me a blanket question, I'm not going to know. You have to give me the details, because I am on a plane. I was on a flight. I was on a 9-hour plus flight yesterday, trying to make it back to the crib. And now I'm live streaming from here because I got to take care of some business and wash clothes. I don't know. I have no clue. You have to fill me in, bro. You got to say, hey, let me tell you how to reframe this. Hey, Anton, they said this about you on the Joe Budden podcast. Did you hear about it? And I'm going to say, no, I ain't hear about it. And then I'm going to go and look it up and find out what's going on. I'm not aware, bro. I'm not aware. You got to be more specific. I don't know. Assume I don't know. You, Aries Spears, Aries Spears want more money from Vlad now? I have no idea. Anthony LeBrock says, what up, though? Shout out to Anthony for the super sticker. AD episode 923 timestamp 2 when you spoke on episode 923 timestamp. I have no idea, bro. You gotta send it to me. Send it to me in an email. Super Jazz Got Me Broke says, AD, there's a random Twitter account with no follower that made a tweet back in 2023 that says Cole Allen shit is super strange. No wonder if it. I would imagine that of 350 million people in the United States and 9 billion people in the world, that there's probably a random Twitter account called Cole Allen somewhere. Just a guess. Just a guess. Cole Allen is a create a player default name. Thanks for keeping me focused, says Dietrich Smith. Yeah, Dietrich. I got you, baby. William Collins says, morning fam, great show last night. Salute. Shout out to my dog, Will. He was on there kicking it, doing his thing. I'm getting all kind of emails. What up to my girl Crimson says, greetings and great day to you, Lord Anton. Praying that your day is filled with bliss and productive success in every aspect or every area of your life. I pray the same thing to you, my love. I love you, Crimson. How did you come up with the name Dusty's? I was listening to a song where Diddy and Wale. No. Yeah, it was a Diddy and Wale, and he said, we don't want no Dusties. Hold on, let me see. I think that's what it was. Let me see. Man, I said, that is hilarious. He had played it. I think he had played something, and it was like an intro where Wale, and he was like, we don't want no dusty dusties. I wish I could remember that song. Was it Wale? Let me see if I can find this song. Now y'all got me curious. What was the last song that Wale did? Let me see. Wale albums. Is it the Everything Is a Lot album? No, that's not it. I gotta figure out what that is. But he said it like in the very beginning of the Nah, y'all about to make me pull up my catalog now. Let's see. Wale library. Nah, I gotta figure out what it is. I don't know what it is. It might not have been Wale. It might have been something else.
Half the corny niggas in the world can't dance. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, boom, we get rid of the...
Oh, it's called Debbie. That's what it's called, Debbie. That's what it's called. It's called Debbie. But I might have said it before that. I don't know that. But I always got to, like, because there's certain things that pop up in my head and I'll be like, yeah, that's it.
Like, boom, we get rid of the dusty. We get into some motherfucking soul.
Yo, I'm saying I don't got the best moves and shit. But we don't got nothing to lose and shit. Hey, yeah. Money on the wheels. Let up. Yeah. Soul clap. Dance with me, yeah. It's so hard to fall in love, I know. You need, yeah, a man that can play his part. I need your body to follow. I ain't gonna be the one that'll break your heart. God made a goddess, grab my arm and know that I got you. You dance with me, yeah. It's so hard to fall in love, I know. You need, yeah, a man that can play his part. I need your body to follow. I ain't gonna be the one that'll break your heart. God made a goddess, grab my arm and know that I got you. Remember my old love, girl, back in school, my soror love, girl.
Yeah, this is where I got it from, I think. Because Diddy, in the very beginning, he said this.
Half the corny niggas in the world can't dance. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, boom, we get rid of the dusty. We get into...
So I don't know. I don't know why I said that. Oh, snaps. All right. You know what? I'm sorry. We got a lot of gangsters in here. It's a lot of thugs in here. It's a lot of thugs in here. And so, you know, they don't dance no more. They just sit up on the wall and they do like this. Yeah, dog. These niggas ain't talking about nothing, my nigga. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do after I pray and brush my teeth is I throw on something funny, as far as like something hot, and I dance, and I just dance my way into the shower, and I just have a good time, bro. A good time. I just love life. Have you ever had to cut off a friend or a group of friends? If so, what was the reason and how do you go about it? I just stopped calling them. Y'all don't have to make an announcement. You don't have to make an announcement. You could just like stop going around and go and start doing your thing. Why do y'all feel like y'all got to make an announcement? You seem like you never have issues. Maybe I'm wrong. How do you maintain to stay happy every day? And do you ever have to overcome issues? Yeah, I just told y'all about, I have to go to a hearing where they're trying to fleece me for $28,000 for one of these cities. Honestly, I just don't care. Like, so I'm not about to, if I'm able to wake up in the morning the next day, I won. In every single aspect of my life, I won. I overcame adversity. I overcame the hood. I overcame all of these different things. I win. I won. So it's nothing for me to be sad. Like, no matter what, life is good. And so you deal with the good. And so you take your dubs the same way you take your L's, and then you move on and you get to the next thing. I just don't care to dwell on things like other people, because that's not going to change your situation. And so the only thing that changes your situation is you changing the situation. I don't care like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I turn everything, instead of me looking at something, let's say something goes wrong. Let's say, for example, somebody says something negative about me, right? Now, other people get in their feelings about it. What I say is, let me leverage that and see if I can use that to get more visibility. And that's what I do. I don't care about all of the rest of this stuff. Life is it's great, man. It's so much good. We born in this great country. Life is good. We got money. I don't have nothing to complain about. Shout out to the Chasers. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description. AD, send it to your email. All right, let's look. Stamps at 2 minutes.
I can't even get him to perform nothing.
Mark, you do mad shit, make people hate you. Oh,
I go to hell. Podcast with Anton Jameson. Brian McKnight started this, but not me. But
what is the great Michelle Obama quote? When they go low,
I go to hell.
How did he start? Shame, Mark.
When he went on that podcast with Anton Jameson and said,
Anton Jameson.
What's his name?
Anton Daniels.
I'm sorry. No disrespect to the brother.
Are you doing it again?
No,
go ahead.
I'm bad with names.
Yo, this nigga's an asshole.
Because some people I did think you dodged that one.
Dodge it how?
I don't know. I'm not one of those people.
How do you dodge it? I don't have no beef with Anton Daniels.
That's a dodge.
You mean to make up some beef?
That's a dodge. That's a dodge right there.
He's saying it's a dodge because Anton was seemingly bringing the smoke to your front door and inviting you to debate.
He didn't invite me to debate.
He definitely invited you to debate.
He did not invite me to debate. In fact, I reached out and said I would debate. And he said,
you said you didn't know who he was, and he started
because I didn't. Because I didn't.
Gotcha.
I didn't know who he was.
But I'm not. And you my man. I'm not trying to be funny.
Get that nigga back for that flat earth, nigga.
No,
he showed it. Somebody on my team had reached out to me, which they did. But I don't. If if you have a team, you understand this.
I do.
You reach out for guests. We reach out for guests all the time. The year earlier, I said I want to debate a black Republican, and they gave me a list of black Republicans, and they tried to call.
What me and Flip is saying is that
me and Flip,
one of the possible. Is that
I'm not no nigga. I'll turn on you right now. Nigga.
Wait, I'm
turning you right now.
I'm the possible.
I turn you.
Oh, that was nice. I see how you be. Gaslight king.
I'm the possible.
Yeah.
Saying that when Anton was looking for you and couldn't find you, he went beat up Corey Holcomb, and then you really wasn't looking to see him no more. But he was still looking for you.
I thought he was. I saluted him on the Corey Holcomb. I thought he stood tall on the Corey Holcomb shit. I thought Corey Holcomb looked like a clown on that.
Yeah,
I thought Anton held it down. I don't got to beef with Anton Daniels. We don't agree on politically, but I ain't got to beef with him. But also, Anton Daniels and Brad McKnight are having a conversation, and Brad McKnight says something. It would be like if you and Flip had a conversation, and y'all both said something about me. I'm not talking to the possible. I'm gonna talk. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, you're not gonna talk to me. I get
no disrespect, but you'd be Brian McKnight in that situation.
But he said he was.
Hey, but it's all disrespect because it's like the niggas.
He was replying to something you had already said.
Right, but what was funny is when I went to the audio, it was actually you who had said the word asshole.
Hey,
that was the funny part.
Bro, you said some slick shit about me. Stop. Your nigga Flip and other niggas ride for you, nigga. We can't ride for you more than what you ride for yourself. That nigga was calling you. I called you out your name. The nigga came on my shit. Whatever he called you. He donated. I still said, nah, I'm not talking to that nigga. That's my man Mark. That's it, nigga. Niggas ride with you and you didn't ride, nigga. That's it. You took a backseat. Back pedal, you moonwalk. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson. You did that. So whatever possible shit, it's possible that you're back down. So that's good. That was good. That was good. Hey! If you tell enough of that was good. Get away from me.
That nigga said, you tell enough jokes, one of them gonna be.
One of them gonna land. Someone got sticks.
See, look who you want to attack. Your man.
Yo, somebody gave you a donation, you turned it down?
I didn't turn it. No. I said, I'm not, that's my man. I didn't turn down the donation. No, I didn't. That nigga donated $500 on a live stream.
And you gave it back?
I did not. No, I said no.
Did you keep the money?
Of course I kept the money.
Then how did you ride?
Because
he didn't talk to him.
There we go. Like, I'm not bringing you up. Okay, cool. The donation I bet, but I'm still not bringing you up. I'm not having a conversation with you. No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would have. I would have gave it back
at the end of the month.
I would have donated to that children's center you're supposed to be building in Trinidad.
Let me tell you what Mark is doing, respectfully. All right. What Mark is doing, what Mark does is when Mark, and I don't have any beef with Mark Lamont Hill. All right. What Mark does, as y'all can hear, and I'm listening to it in its entirety. I'm trying to listen to it in its entirety so I can get the full context, right? What Mark does is Mark likes to defer by cracking a joke or say, man, you should have donated to the children's fund or whatever. It's a deflection, Mac. It's a deflection. It's a deflection. I don't know how else to describe it to you. When I speak to people, I speak directly. And I don't need to like stoke the fire. I said what I said. The videos are still up. The videos are still up. I respect Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill. See, I'm not gonna mess up his name. He know who I am. He know what my name is, and he know I'm the king of Black YouTube. Nobody is messing with me. I don't do any month where I'm doing any less than 60 million views on YouTube and long form content. And under no circumstances is anybody messing with me. Under no circumstances, right? I don't even have to say nothing. That's just what it is. So here's the thing. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know your name. I'm not going to do none of that. I'm not even going to revisit all of the stuff that I said. I said what I said at the time that I said it. It doesn't change anything. And I'm the boogeyman. I'm the boogeyman. And so I expect it's easy to go back and forth on his part. It's easy to go back and forth with his colleagues and his bandmates. I end careers, bro. I don't just debate. I end careers. And so that's not saying I would end his career. I'm saying that I can understand why somebody would fear me. It's understandable for somebody, because you're not going to come out of this without being maimed. When you think about me, you have to think very carefully on what this. If Corey Holcomb could do it all over again, that nigga would have never, ever, ever mentioned my name at all. At all. And it's still not over. I'm keeping it 100%. I'm not talking none of this. When you think about me, because see, now people have to start being a little bit more careful. When you think about getting into the ring, going on a platform or something, if it's not just a regular interview, if it's on some, yo, I want to debate you or go back and forth with your talking point or whatever, you got to think very carefully. You have to think very, very carefully, because you'll never. I didn't end Corey's career, but you'll never see him the same. He's maimed. You gonna come out with a missing arm, a broken tooth, and I'm speaking figuratively, obviously. You're gonna come out of it differently. And so, for example, they thought that they was, I'm gonna leave a comedian alone because he got enough on his plate right now that he's dealing with. I'm gonna just leave that what it is. But Mark is deflecting, and it's cool. Like, I'm cool with that. But obviously, we'll talk about it in a second. Let me finish playing a little bit more of this. And shout out to Joe Budden. I like them. I like their podcast. I think they dope. I think that Mark is doing a good job on the podcast. Let me see. Where is it at? Here it is.
Yo, shout out to Building Fund. Shout out to St. Paul, nigga. Watch your fucking mouth. Shout out to St. Paul.
Somebody said Corey bigger than ever. Corey is he back to doing regular comedy clubs. No theater, no Fox Theater, no stadium, no touring with your bandmates, no none of that. No none of that, no nothing. No nothing. I ain't even gonna talk about his pod mates. His pod mates. Because let's be clear, when the smoke is clear, I'm on everything. I'm on everybody's head. It's not over. It's not over. I'm gonna revisit Craig. I'm gonna revisit everybody. Everybody and everything that had anything to do with anything. It's not over. It's not over. And so I'm gonna revisit these. But we got time. I'll be here. I'll be around. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let me finish hearing what this says.
Yeah, what up? All right, but I don't want people to think I'm avoiding the Brian McKnight thing. So first,
or Anton,
I answer either. So to the anti thing, yeah, he called me out, I guess. Or whatever.
Yeah, he did. I don't guess.
Well, I never listened to it, but I don't have.
Yeah, Mark, shut your ass.
Listen to me, Mark. Listen to Mark.
Yeah, what we wasting our time for, y'all?
No, he probably really did.
Do you think you could beat him? Niggas go, yo, can you fuck this nigga up or not?
Let me answer.
God damn it.
So, what I'm saying is, after he responded, people say, "Yo, he was talking crazy." I didn't listen to it because there was no point. Like, I don't have a beef.
Anton, we'll fuck you up, nigga. It's too much word salad for me. Anton, we will beat the shit.
There's no
hey,
word
you got
salad.
a problem with something that I'm saying? Take it up with Mark.
Yo, anyway, I don't have a beef.
And I'm joking, by the way.
I don't agree with Anton Daniels, but I don't have a beef with him. He actually was the one who launched that when I didn't even know I wasn't familiar with his work. It wasn't. Yes, it was a diss in the sense I was clowning a little bit, But in real life, I wasn't familiar with his work. I wasn't being funny, and my team having called him doesn't mean that I was.
Well, we don't really care about the Anton shit. We just
then you brought it out.
We were just antagonizing you.
Right, and I'm responding. Now to the Brian McKnight part, to the more.
Shout out to Mark Lamont Hill. Shout out to the Joe Budden people over there. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me continue on with the super chat. Will you ever make a new T. Henley commercial? They haven't paid for that yet. They haven't paid for that yet. They haven't paid for that yet. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to 392Q. Chris Cunningham says off topic, but I did some research on the KTM NTS situation. You know, this heifer tried to get Clay to pay her $700,000 a month for her monthly upkeep. What upkeep is $700,000 a month? How do y'all know that? How do you know that, Chris? Cologne of the day, it did struggle you. It says me University. I'm top dog, you top ramen. Laughing my butt off. Philip Sadiq says, what up, though? Marxist Lemoy's heel says, Mr. Buckets. Eric Harris says, Mom, it's the algorithm monster. They don't want that problem. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of in this space where I'm hunting. I'm goodwill hunting, good time hunting. So I'm hunting. I'm in hunt mode. And when I say I'm in hunt mode, that means that, you know, I feel like I've been living too good of a life. You know, you got the new Lambo and all of this other stuff, and you're hanging out inside of some of the most exclusive places. Like, man, I don't want that. I don't want to be. I'm not interested in that right now. I done went back. I want to go back to the trenches and content creation. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm ready to brawl again. Got too comfortable, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hunting, so I'm looking for something. Everybody been trying to be agreeable with me lately and all of that stuff. Nah, let's be unagreeable for a second. It's only right he come on the platform, says TS. Bad Habit says, what it do, big dog? What's up, though? What up? You should sign Darlene to a two-way. No, Darlene ain't, I don't have no problems with Darlene. Darlene was one of the sweetest people ever. Darlene was cool. Derek Wells Jr. What up, Derek Wells Jr.? I appreciate you, big dog. All right, y'all, let's get back to the show. We got stuff that we got to take care of. Pine for Pine says, now, Anton, I disagree. What do you mean? What do you disagree with? What is there to disagree with? I want to go over to the Louisiana governor. Did you decide on whether you are going to sell the lamb? I have not decided yet. Nope, I haven't decided yet. I want to go over to Louisiana, though, because everybody was pissed at the Louisiana governor, and I'm trying to figure out why. What did he say that was so incendiary? I don't like that audio, so let me do some audio modifications real quick. So much work to do today. Got to go to that stupid meeting, bro. You know, it's almost like I should be suing them because they wasted my time and I got other stuff that I need to do and take care of. The audio is messed up from this Louisiana governor for whatever reason, and so I'm I'm going to see if I can get some better audio real quick. Make a quick modification. Because it was only coming out of one side, one speaker. So, left to right. Lower. Lower. X. Download. It's unfortunate that a lot of these news companies and stuff that they can't get their audio right. It's like, did y'all just get in the game? Did y'all just get into content creation? Did y'all just start doing videos and editing videos and stuff? Because there's no reason why y'all should not be able to get y'all audio together so that when people are listening to it, it's not only coming out of one side of the car, it's only coming out of one side of the phone, it's only coming out of one speaker. And so when I see this type of stuff, I'm no longer willing to do just regular content. Let me read a couple more. Are we doing a Patreon? Yeah, we are. What's up with DC? We have some new members that are ready to undust themselves. Yeah, we could do DC. DC could be one of the places on the list. 100% it can. Don't worry. Good thing is you don't need their airtime or platform. They need your exposure and expertise. Keep being you. Yeah, facts. I'm always going to be on it. Thank you, Crimson. William Collins says 80 got 31 in the game of 33. Now the field gonna guard him. Salute, bro. Algorithm Daniel strikes again. Yeah. All right, let me get to it. Where is it at? And y'all don't have to say for all of the bigger, you got to get to a certain level at this point. Don't say, I'm gonna just be quiet. Let me be quiet. Let me chill out. Louisiana governor. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. That's not the one.
Innocent people, I want you to know you are now the criminal problem we are focused on. You endanger families, children, and people who were simply going about their day. In the state of Louisiana, along with our law enforcement partners on both the federal and local level, are going to start responding swiftly and decisively. Now, I want to talk directly about our judicial system. You know, judges hold enormous power, but they are not social workers with a gavel. They are the final gatekeepers of public safety. And I'm talking about both at the state level and especially in the Middle District at the federal level as well. People say, we cannot arrest our way out of this problem, and they are right. But we can sentence our way out of this problem. So let me be clear. Judges who continuously release violent offenders back on our streets, who fail to use the full authority of their office to protect the public, are going to be held accountable. When judges refuse to enforce boundaries or consequences, they're not rehabilitating anyone. What they're doing is abandoning young people until a tragedy like this becomes inevitable. And you know what? That's not justice. That's negligence. That's masquerading around as mercy. The people of Louisiana expect judges to uphold the law, to apply serious consequences for serious crimes, and to prioritize the safety of our citizens above all else. If a judge chooses to hand down weak sentences to known violent actors, if a judge decides to turn violent offenders loose with minimal restrictions, if a judge fails to treat gang-driven violence without the gravity it deserves, I am going to call them out individually, publicly, clearly, and directly. And I mean even the federal judges as well. Because when a judge fails to impose the appropriate consequences, that failure should not fall on the state. It should fall on the judge's shoulders. And when they fail to do their job, they put innocent people in danger. I'm asking the legislature for a full, while the session is going on, for full and holistic review of our sentencing laws. I will support, again, reforms that ensure judges have both the authority and understand the obligation to keep dangerous individuals off of our street. We are no longer going to accept complicity on our bench. Everyone, including judges, will be accountable for public safety. And we're not just, and while we're talking about accountability in action, I'm asking that in coordination with local, state, and federal partners, including all of our law enforcement components, the National Guard, ATF, FBI, US DOJ, I'm asking them to prepare for a targeted warrant sweep focused on the individuals in the neighborhoods that these individuals came out of, or anyone who's connected to this incident. And I'm hoping that in the coming days, we will be executing warrants on every outstanding individual that is tied to this activity. Adults who enable juvenile offenders need to face consequences as well. And I'm sure we don't have a shortage of outstanding warrants here in Baton Rouge. And I am asking them to begin executing them. This is not a one-day response. I expect this to be a sustained effort. To the people of Baton Rouge, in every neighborhood affected by this kind of violence, I want you to know we are drawing the line. We are going to protect innocent lives, but we are going to start imposing some consequences. And we will not allow neighborhood gangs to terrorize our communities or go into public spaces and injure or kill innocent people. If you bring your violence into public spaces, you're going to face immediate and direct action from law enforcement across every level. As you can see, we're unified, we are coordinated, and we are committed. And I want to emphasize that public safety is a team sport. It means that the members of our community have to help us as well. It's fine to see police officers in uniforms, but you do just as important of a job as they do by giving us the information or letting us know about activity, criminal activity, so that we can stop that activity before it gets to yesterday's tragedy. I do not want Louisiana to be defined by lawlessness.
So what's the problem? So I have been hearing people complain about it, and I was even seeing people on social media, on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And of course it was black people. And they were sitting there complaining about Governor Landry over in Louisiana, because you have to understand that this is a direct response from the mall shooting that happened the other day. And so it was people being shot, innocent people getting hit. They had to go on a manhunt. And so when they started to manhunt and find these people and all of this stuff, it pissed off the governor, which every governor should be pissed off. Every city person, every legislator, every governor, every police officer, and I'm going to go over what happened in Chicago too. everybody should be pissed off when that type of stuff happens, because you should be able to, as a citizen, on the weekend, I'm taking my family out, we're going by the mall, we're going shopping, we going this, we going that, and you shouldn't have to worry about getting shot by some ignorant fools or gang members that's beefing in the food court. And so what he's saying is the problem, because y'all like to get to the core and the root of the problem. What he is saying is that the problem isn't just the parents. It isn't just the culture. It isn't just, whatever. It's also the fact that judges continue to let the cops can do their job all they want. Because if we want to get to the core root of every single problem so you can solve for what's happening in the community, then you got to look at every aspect of it. And if the judges, if the police officers do their job, if the detectives do their job, if the prosecutors do their job, if the governor does his job, if the community, if everybody, right, every level on every aspect of what happens when the criminal justice system does their job, right? The people work with the police put their life on the line so that they can go and arrest the people. The prosecutors or the detectives get the evidence. The prosecutors are the ones that prosecute to ensure that they get convicted. They then get convicted, and then it goes all the way to a judge. And a judge is this. What he was saying is that the judges hold enormous power. The judges then come in and say, "Nah," slap on the wrist. It's an insult to the people on every level, including the prosecutor, including the detectives, including the police officers that put their life on the line, including the community. It's an insult when the judge then says, "You know what? Not a big deal." And then they go out and they kill somebody else. But see, the judges are the only ones that don't get traditionally held accountable, because we hold the police accountable. They want their heads. No, man, fire him, arrest him, charge him. The people is already under duress because they got to live with these monsters. The prosecutors get held accountable because they get voted out. The detectives get demoted and they get sent back into the desk. The police chief get fired from the mayor because the mayor want to protect his image. The mayor didn't, well, it depends on what city you in, but the mayor, he out there losing sleep every day trying to make sure that he get reelected. And the judge go home and he sleep nice and comfy every single night, regardless of the decision that he made. And so what he is basically saying is that we need to hold these judges accountable in the same way that everybody else is held accountable on every level. On every level. And I've seen people getting upset about it. So to the culture in the community that I think is so trash, the culture is trash, bro. Let me ask y'all a question when y'all got upset about this. Isn't it funny how y'all have no complaints about the assailants, about the people that actually shot up the mall, shot up other people, shot up innocent people? Y'all have no smoke for that, but y'all got all the smoke in the world for the governor that's saying that he want to hold the judges accountable. That's how messed up the culture is. They're more concerned about what the governor said than the people that actually getting hit and getting shot at the mall in Louisiana.
And quite frankly, I want us to be defined as strength, the strength of our communities, and by our resolve to protect people. Thank you. And I'll take any questions that you all may have. I guess maybe we should start from left to right.
Go left to right, only on topic right now.
The governor, did Mr. Lee give any indication that, did he confess when he turned himself in? And also, what was his demeanor like?
Yeah, so we're still early on in the investigation. He turned himself in with his attorney, and to my knowledge, did not really give any statements. Everything we got comes from exhaustive investigative efforts by our detectives, which led us to be able to draft an arrest warrant, which was signed by a judge to place him under arrest.
And let me remind everyone, this is an ongoing investigation. So a lot of the questions that I'm sure you'd like to ask and get answered will not be able to be answered because it is an ongoing investigation. The other thing too is, and I think Hilla spoke about that, is that these types of investigations are not solved, you know, in today's digital world like a TikTok video, right? Or like one episode of Law and Order. These are very complicated cases, and quite frankly, we want to give our law enforcement agencies the time necessary to put the case together so that the district attorney gets an arrest is one thing. The prosecution is what we're really after, okay? And in order to do that, we want them to have the time necessary, and I ask for the patience from the media and the public to give them that time so that they can put a case good enough for the district attorney to go into court and to hold those accountable for their actions.
Governor, you talked also a lot about judicial reform. Do you believe that any judges potentially were lenient with the suspects, that either the one that turned himself in or the ones that are at large?
Well, here's what I'd say. Y'all do a great job of investigating all kind of information, and the courthouse is full of data, okay, on judges. In fact, we're dealing with judges in New Orleans right now that just continuously let these people back out on the street.
But Governor, specifically to this case.
Listen, what I'm telling you is the continual action of that has led to this case. But yet no one is out there holding those judges accountable when they just continue to allow. It would not surprise me as the people who are involved in this, before it's all over, don't have an extremely lengthy rap sheet.
They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear that. Listen, they don't want to hear that truth. They don't want to hear that, bro.
We probably won't see all of the juvenile misconduct that occurred, because we've hidden that from the general public. It's a debate that we had in the legislature last year.
Governor, you're talking about judges and wanting to hold them accountable. As you know, here in Louisiana, it is against the law to have cameras in courtrooms. Do you support that happening, being changed in order to hold these judges accountable?
I think there's plenty enough data, okay, in the judge's final decision. We don't need to turn our courtrooms into some media live circus. Y'all do your job and go to the courthouse. You know who those judges are. You see these folks working day and night, arresting the same people. Y'all see the juvenile violence that goes on again and again. And yet over the last 5 years before I became governor, or 8 years while I was attorney general, I watched nothing but hug-a-thug policies in this state. A watering down of our criminal justice system, not quite holding those accountable, forgetting the victims rather than focusing on the criminal, like the criminal was innocent even after proven guilty. This is the kind of violence that we end up with when we engage in those kinds of policies. And I'm asking the legislature to go back and look at the laws. In fact, people that go into common places and decide to engage in that kind of violence, we should put them away for life. I'm done with them. It doesn't matter how old they are. Somebody has failed. It's not the government's job to raise these people. It's common sense not to go into a public space with a gun and start shooting around blindly. We got 18,000 acres at Angola. And if it's up to me, I'd send them all there for the rest of their lives. Next.
Yep. Chief, this is a question for the chief. So the governor and State Senator Evans are the only ones who have used the word gang in this. Are the suspects or the people, the guy arrested, is this a gang thing? And if so, what gangs are involved?
So, again, y'all are asking a lot of questions that I'd love to open our playbook and open all of our technology and give it to you, but we don't want to do that right now. And what I can say is that this definitely probably has some ties to social media beefs, maybe gang-related stuff, but we're still at the beginning of this. We just arrested him today, and so we're going to keep giving over that information.
But is it fair to say, because there was the mayor came out and said, do not pigeonhole or stereotype young people in our city, but the word gang is being used. Is that a fair assessment, or are you guys as officials, as leaders of the city and the state, are you guys jumping the gun on labeling people who may be or may not be connected to this?
Yeah, so I think talking in general, we've been beating around the topic a lot lately. We do have some gangs in Baton Rouge, and those people we're going to be targeting. We worked with the district attorney's office last year to sentence people to in a grand jury get indicted for gang activity. We're going to continue those efforts for people that label themselves as part of a gang. You're on social media.
Yeah, bro, he cooked. Hold on, let me go back.
Somebody has failed. It's not the government's job to raise these people. It's common sense not to go into a public space with a gun and start shooting around blindly. We got 18,000 acres at Angola. And if it's up to me, I'd send them all there for the rest of their lives.
Up, listen. Don't go to Louisiana. Don't go to Louisiana. Don't go to Louisiana. Listen. Listen. You might want to stay clear of the Lou. That's all I'm saying. You might want to stay clear of the Lou because they not messing around over there. They're not messing around over in Louisiana. They said, listen, I wants you and I got to have you. And if you don't act like you got some sense, I wants you and I got to have you. They not messing around, bro. They're not messing around. They're not messing around. So be careful in Louisiana. They will throw you under the jail. And I don't disagree with them. People are tired, bro. They're absolutely tired. They exhausted. They don't want to continue to deal with the same stuff over and over again because y'all want to let YNs do what they want to do when they want to do it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see what's happening in these streets. I want to give a shout out to, let me move over to Cash App real quick. John Teal says, for the people butthurt about our president. Man, I rock with the president so heavy, bro. I got so much love for the president. 80 them Pistons, Jalen Duren look horrible. I think that they'll be fine. They'll be fine. UPT, shout out to UPT now, though, in the building. I appreciate you, bro, for looking out and holding me down. Thank you, big dog. He sounds like Justin Wilson, the Cajun chef. Rest in peace. I work this area. We arrest the same suspects over and over. Horrible Cajun accent, by the way. Well, I just hearing them for the first time. You got to give me. All right, so hold on. Y'all got to give me some time to get these people up to date on my impressions. You know what I'm saying? What's up to my girl Kim and I? Had a really good conversation with my homegirl Kim and I in the building. All right, y'all. I want to move over to Chicago. And boy, do I got to give y'all some insight on Chi-Town. Boy, do I got to give y'all some insight on what's going on over in Chi-Town. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
We're awaiting word from Chicago police on a condition update for those two Chicago police officers who we can confirm at this time were shot at Swedish Hospital just early this morning. Endeavor Health gave us a statement just now saying this shooting happened at 11 o'clock. Now, it appears that they were transporting a suspect into that hospital for scheduled treatment around 9 o'clock this this morning. So it was a patient inside the hospital at the time. Endeavor Health tells us that somehow, despite being wanted for weapon detection protocols while being admitted to the hospital, that suspect was able to grab a weapon at some point and fired shots at both law enforcement officers, then ran out of Swedish Hospital. Now, we are told by Alderman Andre Vasquez that suspect ran out of the hospital but was apprehended, taken into custody by police just blocks away from there. Now, here at Illinois Masonic, we've seen a massive police presence from Illinois State Police, Cook County Sheriff's Office, as well as dozens and dozens of CPD squad cars pulling up to the scene. We know Police Superintendent Larry Snelling is also here on scene, and it looks like we're awaiting the arrival of Mayor Brandon Johnson at this time. We still do not know the condition or status of those 2 Chicago police officers that are being treated here at Illinois Masonic at this time. Police tell us there will be a press conference here shortly right outside the hospital, so we're awaiting word on that. But just alarming details of everything that led up to this incident. We've seen a lot of people around this hospital just very concerned hearing the news of 2 Chicago police officers being shot and critically hurt in this shooting. Everyone just hoping for the best at this time. So we'll have some more updates as they come in. Now we're just waiting on this press conference.
Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, we're here. I'm sad to say that we've lost another officer in the line of duty and another officer who's been critically injured. At approximately 10:50 a.m., our officers transported an individual over to Swedish Covenant Hospital for an observation, at which time 2 of our officers were shot. One was shot critically and was pronounced. The second officer right now is fighting for his life in the hospital behind us. And we ask that you keep the families of these officers in your prayers. This is a
All right, so let me speak about this a little bit more extensively than most people can, because the media over in Chicago is basically being censored, and the media in Chicago is also corrupt. Yep, I'm gonna say it 100%. The media in Chicago, the mayor in Chicago, the police department in Chicago, they are all in bed with each other. And because I have no strings on me, I can speak a little bit more extensively about what is happening. All right. So let me give you what I know. And then I'm going to tell you what else I know. And y'all might want to really, really turn up your volume on this one, because we about to have a breakdown, because I was able to tap into multiple sources. Yeah, I got some sources in City Hall over at in Chicago. I got some sources in the police departments in Chicago, and I definitely got some sources in the media. And so I was working this story as soon as I got home, because I gave a quick overview of it on the Anton Daniels channel. But, you know, I have a special interest in Chicago because I don't like corruption, and I don't like the fact that when I looked at the statistics and found out in 2024 that almost more than doubled in the next closest city, that Chicago, the city had 574 murders. I said, you know what? It's got to be more than just the people. It's got to be more than just the people. So I dug a little bit deeper, right? I dug a little bit deeper. So first of all, the suspect in this, because they always say, wait for the investigation. And so what the police tells the media is, hey, don't release this yet because we need to find this out or whatever. And so the media will ask questions, but there are certain people in the media that know certain things, but they can't talk about it because they're in bed and everybody is making money off of each other. And so they continue to monetize crime over in Chicago, which is why y'all not getting anything done, right? So this is what's being reported. This suspect was committing crimes, right? When he was arrested, and I'm giving you the general overview because I want to get to the real part of this. When he was arrested, he then said that, you know, he basically had swallowed some crack or whatever, right? Swallowed drugs. And so as protocol, they were taking him over to Swedish hospital. 2 police officers taking him over to Swedish hospital. Now, here's the part that we haven't confirmed yet, because we got to make sure that it's official, and I want to make sure that I'm using my platform effectively. One report is saying that he had a gun in his pants, like tucked into his pants. Another report was that he got the gun from the police officers. But either way, he shot 2 police officers at Swedish hospital. And after shooting 2 police officers at Swedish hospital, one is in critical condition and the other one died. One is in the critical condition and the other one died. He escapes. They go on a manhunt from him. They actually find him under a porch. That is what's being told to me. They wind up finding him under a porch. All right. Let's continue. Here's the part that's interesting. Well, I'll save that till after we hear a little bit of what Brandon Johnson has to say.
A lot to go through. These are the dangers of policing. This is a very, very and extremely dangerous profession. But our officers go out there every single day and they do this work knowing that when they go into these environments that they're not safe. But they accept that, and that's the work that they do. We have an individual who's in custody right now and a weapon recovered. So I just want to be clear about one thing. We're going to give you the opportunity to ask questions. This is an ongoing investigation, so I'm not going to get too deep into the details of this. I will give you the most high-level information that I can give you, but this is under investigation, and we're not going to do anything to impede that investigation. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that when you ask your questions. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you for your leadership. Today is a real difficult moment for our city. It's a tragedy. You know, our officers stand in the way of harm every single day, risking their own lives. And along with them risking their lives, they have family that expect them to come home. One of our officers will not be able to return to their family. And I'm calling on the entire city of Chicago.
So here's what's being told to me. Let's get fake Johnson out of the way for a second. All right. Here's what's been told to me. Had to do a little bit of work. But we gonna get there. This is the guy. All right. That is the camera footage that was sent out to police officers on the right of him actually escaping police custody and going and killing, after killing one, and then the other one is, you know, he's still in the hospital. All right. This is the guy. They're keeping his name from the media. But his name is Alfonso, allegedly. Let me cover myself here. Allegedly, his name is Alfonso Talley. Alfonso Talley. All right. Now, the reason why I'm being told that they're keeping his name from the media is because he's related to one of the deputy chiefs in Chicago, whose name allegedly, all of this is alleged, all right, whose name just so happened to be Yolanda Talley. So Yolanda, the way that they're trying to pull this, right, and the reason why they're trying to be a little bit careful, and again, this is what's being told to me. I cannot tell you that this is true. I'm not saying that it's 100% true. I'm telling you that I'm saying this confidently because I trust the people that is around me, that is giving me insight and information. Yolanda doesn't want Alfonso to be tied directly to her, especially considering that he's a cop killer. So what they're doing is they're trying to censor information that is being poured out to the media, and they're working their contacts and they're limiting. And that's why when you see them come up here and they say there's still an investigation, so be careful, or whatever questions that you're asking, there's still an investigation. It's because they're protecting themselves. And this deputy chief allegedly has a long history with her family members being criminals. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm not going to deep dive too heavy into it. I'm going to leave it like it is. But they're trying to conceal her name. But when you kill a cop, it's going to be hard for you to keep that under concealment because the blue wall can only go as far as a cop being killed. I'm going to just leave it at that. So real life PJ, when you then start to see it filter through, of course, you're not going to see the tie back to each other. But when you start to see it filter through to the media, because the media is trash. And so we need individual journalism like myself to actually have real conversations about what's going on in the community, because you're not going to see anybody, nobody. You're not going to see anybody talking about it, right? You may see conservatives at large a little bit mention it just because they don't like the fact that Chicago is a liberal city and they don't like Brandon Johnson, right? But you're not going to see anybody actually caring about what's happening in the community and the corruption that goes along a long way through. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it from your black leaders that say that they care about black lives and what's happening. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it because this is a niche conversation that we're having right now. It's not big enough for them to really pick it up on like a Fox News or anything like that. But at the same time, it's not sensational enough as far as dick and pussy for the vloggers to really talk about it, because they know everybody only want to talk about relationship information. And it's not important enough for them to fumble their contacts over in Chicago. So the news is not really going to report and talk about it. And you don't see anybody knowledgeable enough in the culture and the community to really start to deep dive into it. And so they're not going to talk about it. And you're not going to see Roland Martin or Don Lemon or Joy Reid or any of your local people start to dig into it, because they have an agenda and they're more focused on Trump derangement syndrome and trying to figure out whether or not men can be women and women can be men. And so now I'm all you got, baby. I'm all you got. I'm the only person that you have that you can depend on to give you resourceful information when it comes to really finding out what's going on inside of these communities, because I actually care about police officers, and I care about the community, and I care about the culture. And so I'm not just going to talk about the sensational stuff. I'm going to actually have a conversation, because corruption runs deep and it runs rampant, and they're monetizing your lives and your safety in order to protect themselves. They don't care about y'all. They don't care about y'all in real life. Everybody can pretend, everybody can project, everybody can act like, oh yeah, I really do care about the culture. They talk about the same old BS every day. We want reparations, we want this. No, you should be just wanting crime to be removed from your community so that y'all kids can walk to school safely at the very minimum. I don't think that that's unreasonable. I don't think that that's a crazy ask. So it's a part of the good old boys club, and they all tied in together, and they all protected each other until they not. But then somebody loses their life, and in this instance, it just so happens to be a police officer, and as a result, they're still protecting certain people because they don't want certain information to get out, because then it's a tangled web that we weave. But this is what I can promise you. The more that I can confirm certain information, the more I will continue to communicate it to you guys, and then you can make a decision for yourself as to whether you think that it's right or it's wrong. Y'all want to go back to hear what Brandon Johnson got to say? Sure, why not?
To pray for this officer's family and that they heal from this tragedy. I'm also asking the city of Chicago to pray for one of our officers that is currently fighting for their life and is in serious condition. I want to thank our Chicago Police Department for showing up every single day for the people of this city. I want to thank the city of Chicago for putting their arms around our officers.
It's all performative. That's what I keep trying to tell y'all. It's all performative. They're just there as a face. They're not actually giving you anything that's going to help you fixing your communities, making it safer. It's all about numbers, baby. It's all about numbers. Remember this as we move on to the next story. Remember this. If you don't take anything from this, remember this. Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, $1.6 billion budget deficit, not hiring any more police officers, don't have any money in Chicago, raising property taxes while at the same time saying that they're going to tax millionaires. They're not. Losing their stadium, losing the Bears, $734 million budget deficit for teachers. Teachers are being laid off in Chicago. And they told Trump, no, don't help us. Don't make our city safer. We're not handing over illegals. And more importantly, don't send the National Guard to ensure that this type of stuff don't happen. Ask yourself why. Why would somebody in any capacity deny to save lives? Just ask yourself that question. When you start to ask the real questions, because this ain't about black versus white. This ain't about Democrat versus Republican. Ask yourself, why would somebody deny help when they need all the help that they can get from trying to prevent crime and problems and trouble from happening in the community? Why? Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Cardona Jason says, as I always say, follow the money. The higher the crime rates, the bigger the budgets. Get these likes up. Roscoe P says, Johnson doesn't care about that officer. They are a sickness. We remember what you said. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. All right, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and stick with Chicago for a second, because hold on, I got you. I got you, baby girl. No sound? Okay. Let me refresh it real quick. Let me refresh it. I got you. I got you. Give me a second. I got you. Starting next week, maybe even tomorrow, to be honest with you. Might be starting tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, I'm actually going back to some different software so I can ensure that everything is working the way that it's supposed to. Let me get this audio right. Give me a second. I got you. I feel like the audio was wrong on that video anyway, so I'm going to update it really quickly for y'all. Seven. It was a little low, so we're going to go ahead and make the modifications.
Millionaire's tax proposal makes it through Springfield. It will then be up to Illinois voters to approve a 3% surcharge on anyone making $1 million or more annually. If you earn enough money to comfortably shop at designer stores, drive a fancy car, or live in a multi-million-dollar home, some Democratic lawmakers say it's time for you to pay more. State Representative LaShawn Ford is behind a binding referendum asking voters to approve a tax increase on million-dollar incomes or more.
So Illinois has almost 13 million people, but the millionaire's tax only impacts about 32,000.
Ford says the 3% tax increase on million-dollar incomes or more is predicted to generate $4.5 billion. The money will be split between property tax relief for Illinois residents and education.
We could use the fund for early childhood education. We could use the funds for other educational opportunities.
But those who are against it say while voters may agree higher income earners should pay more, they don't trust Illinois lawmakers to use the money generated from the tax responsibly.
Illinoisans don't like passing something to find what's in it. We saw a progressive income tax on the ballot in 2020. One of the major reasons it lost is because Illinoisans did not trust these political promises.
Austin Berg is the executive director of the Chicago Policy Center, an arm of the conservative Illinois Policy Institute. He says the surcharge also affects thousands of small business owners.
These are not people in pinstripe suits and Rolexes driving limousines. These are people with their names on the side of their truck who are making over $1 million in pass-through income.
But Ford says if approved by voters, lawmakers can make exemptions for businesses when working out the details of the bill. In addition, Berg claims the 3% surcharge will drive more residents out of Illinois. He says Illinois has lost over 1 million taxpayers during the past decade, taking $88 billion with them.
Illinois is a great place to be, and I don't think that people leave Illinois because of a 3% surcharge.
The millionaires.
How come they always saying what they think instead of being able to speak on what they know?
Tax proposal must pass both the House and Senate by May 3rd to make it on the November ballot. If Illinois voters pass it, it will then go back to state lawmakers to implement the bill.
So basically, this is a retrofit from the thing that Chicago couldn't pass. And now they're trying to do it statewide. J.B. Pritzker is no better than Brandon Johnson, and they're trying to do this on people. And so when they say pass-through income, I want you to understand what the difference is between income and pass-through income. I'm going to break it down to you like a C student, all right? Income is what you pay taxes on, all right? I was explaining this to somebody yesterday, or it was the day before yesterday. I was explaining this to somebody and I said, listen, there's a difference between your adjusted gross income and the amount of money that you gross, right? Your adjusted gross income is the amount that you pay taxes on. So let's say, for example, that if I make $1 million in income, right? Regardless of how I make it, regardless of whether I make it on a W-2 or a 1099 or as a business owner or whatever, I have to report that I grossed $1 million in income. I'm only going to pay taxes on $100,000 in income, because in order for me to make $1 million, I had to spend $900,000. That could be marketing. That could be, I had to buy the products in order to sell them. My margins may only be 10% after all of my employee costs or whatever. So in order for me to gross $1 million, I had to spend $900,000. That's what my write-offs are. And then I pay taxes on $100,000. So my tax rate is based off of me taking home $100,000, even though my business grossed $1 million. Truck drivers that own their own trucks, you understand this concept because it costs money to run the truck. You got to pay for the truck. You got to fuel the truck. You got to have maintenance on the truck. You got to do all of these different things on the truck. And so after your expenses, you may gross $1 million, but you may take home $100,000, right? Because the cost to run the business, it allows for you a 10% margin, right? So when we're talking about pass-through income, they're not talking about millionaires, because ask yourself the question, how do they know that you're a millionaire? How do you determine whether or not somebody is a millionaire? Is it their net worth? Is it their property? Is it the amount of money that they pay taxes on? Is it the amount of money that they gross? Different states do it differently. So what they're doing in New York is they're basing it off of the amount of money that you're spending on your property, and that's how they're taxing it. They're going to tax your property in order to determine whether or not you're a millionaire, right? And then they try to figure out if it's a second home or if you live here or if you live there. And so the way that New York is trying to finesse the system is they're saying that anybody that is invested in New York, even if you don't live within the state, if you still have a property there, then we're going to tax you your second property based off of the value of it. And that is going to generate us a significant amount of money. And that's why a lot of millionaires are saying, you know what, billionaires and millionaires are leaving. And they're saying, you know what, I could just take all of my marbles and move it somewhere else. So then when you go over to Chicago, for example, they're saying your pass-through income. So what they want to throw words on it, but basically whatever it is that you're generating, that's how they classify you a millionaire. That's why I'm breaking this down like a C student so that you'll understand it, because different places classify you based off of different standards. That's why I said, how do you know, or how would you classify somebody as a millionaire, right? So what they're saying is pass-through income, and they're going to try to sell it in order for them to, because in order for them to pass a bill, in order for them to change legislation, they got to be able to sell it to the people. And so they're going to sell it to the people by saying that, hey guys, you guys are going to get property tax relief, and we're going to continue to fund the schools. Because Brandon Johnson, for example, was asking J.B. Pritzker for an additional $734 million so that they wouldn't have to lay off teachers because somebody somewhere is missing some money. So instead of them being accountable for it, what they're doing is they're passing through legislation and saying, well, we're going to tax the highest amount of people, and that's going to solve for our budgetary problems when it comes to the schools. But the schools are funded. Where's the money going? Well, it's a lot more complicated. They take out, borrow money. They do bonds, right? The credit rating of Chicago is going down, so they're paying more money on the interest of being able to borrow money or the money that's already borrowed. So money is just leaving. It's death by 1,000 cuts. You know how you may make a decent amount of money. Let's say you make $100,000 a year, right? And you say, oh my God, I don't know where my money is going. I'm all broke. Well, you got DoorDash over there. You got a cleaner over here. You got a hoe over there. You got a vacation over there. You're paying interest on your credit cards over there. Client and have to pay over there. Your mama needs some money over here. And then you say, man, I make $100,000. It ain't enough to live today. Well, you got death by 1,000 cuts. You tricking it off. You eating your food. You're doing all this. You don't have any accountability for where your money is going. The cities are the same way. The states are the same way. They got a social program over here. They got a reparations fund over here that they want to do some research and study on reparations. Chicago spent $500,000 to research reparations. What does that even mean? Now, some of y'all were dumb enough to fall for the okie doke, and then they say, oh man, see, Chicago is researching reparations. They created a position for somebody to get a bag so that they could say that they're researching reparations. You're not going to get no money
They created a position to give somebody else some money to research it. What are we talking about here? So now what Illinois is doing is they're saying, well, listen, guys, we're going to sell this thing by saying that we're going to go and tax billionaires and millionaires, or millionaires. They didn't even say billionaires. They just said millionaires through pass-through income. That means that if you are a person that owns a business and you generate X amount of dollars in your business, regardless of how much you take home yourself, you have to pay a surcharge. Not on your adjusted gross income. You have to pay a surcharge to do business in Chicago. Now, you'll see a politician like my man that was just right here that'll say something like, well, I don't think that people are going to leave because of an extra 3% that they got to pay to us. Man, who you talking to? I don't want to give you $1. I don't want to give you nothing. I'm not trying to take my income and make sure that you happy about what it is that I got going on. I'm not trying to give you $1 of what I got going on. Man, who you talking to? And you definitely ain't trying to get 3% of my pass-through income. Who you talking to? So the better, this is the way the system works, all right? The better I do, I don't sleep sometimes. Sometimes I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I will tell you that it wasn't Friday. It was Thursday morning, because that was a day that I actually got in. I got in early Thursday morning into Manchester. I had been up for 50 hours. I was dragging, but I got on here and I made sure I did the Millionaire Morning Show because y'all was complaining. Y'all was whining. Man, my mornings aren't the same when you don't stream. You help me get through my day. I said, you know what? You got it. You right. I got to take care of my business. I got to make sure I do what I got to do. So I dragged my way through it, and then I got some sleep, and then I did a better show on Friday. Right? But I worked my butt off. Y'all can see it. You were so tired, you can see it. I worked my butt off. I work my butt off 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She out there having a good time. They out there partying. He out there going to get some box. I'm in here working. And the more that I work, the more I'm going to get penalized for it, because you don't know how to manage our finances as a state. Because you don't know how to manage your finances as a state. So now we got to be penalized for it because you don't know what you're doing. The more I work, if I was a Chicago resident, the more I'm going to get penalized for it. And not only that, they're going to paint me out to be the bad guy, like I did something wrong because I work harder, because I want more for my family. You finna be a scammer, Lex? I have to get penalized because I'm working harder for my family. Do you know how crazy that sounds? And they actually are selling this all across America. It's the millionaires and the billionaires. They're the bad guys in this country. What? So wait a minute. I can grind, hustle, go get it, and take care of business, and I'm the bad guy? How did I become the bad guy? When did that happen? No. I refuse. 1,000% I refuse to subject myself to the mindset that I'm the bad guy because I make the sacrifice and work my butt off. And this is what you guys got to look forward to in Illinois. If you listen to what this guy said, if this is not one of the most disrespectful things I've ever heard in my entire life.
With them.
Illinois is a great place to be. And I don't think that people leave Illinois because of a 3% surcharge.
Nigga, what?
What makes you think that you got access, you deserve access to my money? That's my money. Nigga, if you owe me $40 on the street, I'm coming to get it. And you think that you just gonna take my stuff? Though we done did more for less. We've done more for less. Take that to mean what you want it to mean. We've done more for less. Just playing with my money is like playing with my emotions, Smokey. You just gonna take my money. You're just gonna take my money. So if you guys are okay, because they keep on digging in, it ain't never enough. No matter how much money you pay, no matter how many property taxes you pay, no matter how many lottery tickets you buy, because they say that the lottery money is going towards the schools. No matter how much is never enough. No matter how much, it's never enough. Corruption, they don't want to do an audit. They don't want to have Doge come in. They don't want to be accountable for where the money is. Over in California, they got the Stop Nick Shirley Act because they don't want you to see what a fraud is. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Shout out to Quasar, says, good morning, good afternoon, AD. Will you ever have a Monday show again? Yeah, but I need to so let me tell you what I've been doing. Over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been working on different things, different formats. Me and your car has been going back and forth. I don't even know if I can show you some of that, but we've been working on formats, upgrades, rollouts, and so we got whole things coming up. So I'll even show you some of the conversation. So this is your car, and it say the format is dope, cleaner look, and he's making suggestions, and then I say, I'll probably just go with a thumbnail for now. The format is only for MMS. Okay. And so we're tweaking things for all 3 platforms, for the Anton Daniels platform, for Millionaire Morning Show. We got a new rollout and a new blitz that we're about to make. And so we've been working on stuff. We've been working really, really hard behind the scenes. You don't get to see it. You just see the changes, or you'll just see, whatever, and so on and so forth. But I've been working really, really hard over the last couple of weeks on different rollouts. So when you see me pull back some a little bit, then that's because I got other stuff that I'm working on at the same time that I'm still live streaming and I'm still putting out content and stuff. So sometimes you got to take a step back in order to take 3 steps forward. And so I evolve and I grow, and I'm trying to upgrade some stuff. And so that's what we're working on. All right. Let me see what else is happening in these streets, man. Let me see what else is happening in the streets. Give me a second. Let's see. We tackled the Louisiana governor. Millionaire's tax in Chicago. The Chicago shooting. Give me a second. Paige dropped the full interview. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys. Y'all like, who is Paige? Who is Paige? Remember we did the review video of the woman that was saying that she was talking about Sharon Moore. She was a side chick or whatever. I guess the full interview dropped, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll pull that up and we'll roll with that. You know what? I take that back. I don't want to get this hoe any more visibility. I don't want to give her any more visibility at all. And so I was about to cover it just because it's the popular conversation or the popular topic to cover. I'm not going to cover it. I changed my mind. I don't want to. And said we'll move somewhere else. We got you. We'll move into something different. So let me see something. That. Let's go here. I just don't care, man. I'm tired of people clout chasing. I'm tired of people, doing all of this stuff. It's just like, yo, the clout chasing got to end, bro. But I do want to go over to this other story right here. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Learning more about the suspect caught in the security video shooting a gas station employee in Colombia. Shantae Lachey O'Donnell remains in custody in New York State.
But she is expected to face attempted murder and other charges here in Maryland.
Howard County community reporter Dennis Valera is live where the shooting happened last week. And Dennis, there's also a video of the suspect making the rounds on social media.
Yes, Nikki and Rick, and in that video, Shantae Lachey O'Donnell is even admitting to the shooting. Now, ever since this happened last Friday, it has been a big talker in this area of Columbia. In New York, it appears that license plate reader technology is what got police on her tail. Before Shantae Lachey O'Donnell was arrested, she posted a video online. And in that video, she brings up the shooting Howard County police say she's responsible for.
I walk in the store, I steal everything. I shot that man because he has a demon spirit and he laughed in my face and thought it was funny.
What? I didn't expect this. Hold on one second. Hold on, I gotta find it. My audio is out again. I don't know why. Hold on, let me refresh this. Let me share my screen. Yeah, we're gonna fix this come tomorrow or Wednesday.
I got Guess what I just did? I got $40. Thanks, Starbucks. And I'm gonna take this and I'm going to use it for something. Yes, I am armed and dangerous. What are you gonna do? They're gonna try to convince you that I'm just crazy or that I'm lying and I'm not God. But if I'm not God, then and I'm just crazy, you should have no problem apprehending your suspect. I don't have my mug shot yet, but I'm in the camera shot of it, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna put it in a news article.
What is going on with these people, bro? What is happening? Y'all see this woman? Hold on, give me a second. Let me see something. This is wild.
I walk in the store, I steal everything. I shot that man because he has a demon spirit and he laughed in my face and thought it was funny.
on Instagram at Murder Inc. Baltimore. Let me pull this up on Instagram. They might have took it down. I don't see it. It might have took it down. I don't know. This is wild, bro. This is absolutely insane. I don't know what's happening in the culture. I don't know what's happening in society. I don't know why these people feel comfortable just jumping on here and saying some of the wildest stuff that they're saying. But this is crazy.
I bet he ain't laughing now.
This is the first video of O'Donnell to make the rounds online. Howard County Police say O'Donnell fired at a 65-year-old man at the Shell gas station off Cradle Rock Way in Columbia's Owen Brown neighborhood. He was taken to shock trauma and, according to police, is still in serious condition. The community has been on edge since it happened Friday night.
I never expect that happening like across the street from my house.
I think I would probably think twice, maybe not come after dark.
O'Donnell wouldn't be arrested until 4 days later, nearly 300 miles away. According to Binghamton Police in New York, officers found her in a parking lot in a city near the New York-Pennsylvania border after her license plate tied her to an investigation in her home state of Virginia. Those officers recognized her from the security camera footage, helping identify her to Howard County Police. Binghamton Police charged her for having 2 guns.
Remember, I said I'll go first. Well, that's what I'm doing. You're going to start seeing me everywhere. When you're going to take your fight off the internet, all you do is talk. Well, I jumped off the porch. Give me a little bit of time. I'm going to be seeing some of y'all. You want to roll with the Most High God. If you ain't afraid, there might be a place for you in a time. I'm coming into a city near you, probably. I'm guessing. If I'm not God, they're going to take me down. But if I am, then I'm just going to mock them and make a mockery of the system that they pretend like has so much power. I am the most powerful, not them. I'm back! So I had no idea when they told me that I can do whatever I want to do. And I didn't understand that. And they've been told me that. But just the other day, like y'all seen me when I last made videos, I was having a breakdown thinking I'm about to die. I was going through some type of change. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, it's time. Like, so I get up and I get the courage up. I walk into one store. I can't do it. So I'm like, because I'm about to rob somebody because I'm about to go burn something tonight. Long story short, I can do whatever I want to do on this earth and nobody has power or authority over me. Not the police, not anyone. And I'm going to show you that I'm God because they have no power over me. They can put bulletins. The FBI could be looking for me. When I'm done on my crime spree, they're going to be looking for me for real. And they can't do nothing about it. I'm the Most High God and this is my earth and I can do anything that I want to do. And I, the other day, did something and then now I'm just sitting here like, It's like you got to kick the fear a little bit at a time, okay? I'm off the porch because now they're looking for me. And the other day, I was worried about how I was going to pay my insurance. I'm like, I ain't paying no insurance. I always thought, like, that's at the bare minimum, I'm going to pay my insurance. I get rid of everything, pay my insurance and my car note at the bare minimum. That's it. Everything else, credit cards, everything, gone. Debt is just built up and piled up, everything. Now, I ain't paying nothing. Y'all looking for me. They ain't going to catch me, though. I'm God. Guess what I just did? I got $40. Thanks, Starbucks. And I'm going to take this.
These people are crazy, bro.
I'm going to use it for something.
These people are crazy.
Yes, I am armed and dangerous. What are you going to do?
These people are insane, bro. Honestly, this is crazy. I don't know what timeline I'm in. I don't know what we living in. I don't know what's going on right now, but people have completely lost their minds. People have completely lost their minds. She goes in and shoot a gas station clerk, bro. A gas station clerk. Somebody that ain't never did nothing to nobody. Never did anything to anybody. And she just takes his life. And he's gone forever. He's gone forever. No coming back. Nothing is ever going to be able to help him. Nothing. It's sad, bro. It's so sad. It's very, very messed up and it's sad. And you know, I'm tired of saying pray for the families, bro. I'm tired of saying I'm just tired of saying pray for the families. I'm tired of saying all of that, bro. It's old. It's tired. It's old. And it's messed up. It really is messed up. I pray for the family. I pray for the people. And to see that this type of stuff is happening and people are willing to do this is absolutely insane to me. It is. So I don't give any credence to this. I'm not about to sit here and say, you know, this is a revolution. I'm not chalking this up to being anything more than crazy people doing what crazy people do. And if we had more insane asylums and if we had people locked up and if we started, you know, profiling more effectively, really, that's my advice to y'all. My advice to y'all is profile every single day. Try to figure out who it is that you can profile and make a smart decision because profiling is protection. I know that they tried to sell us on, oh my God, no, you just don't take any, don't assume any, assume the worst until they prove you otherwise. Assume the worst until they prove you otherwise. Don't have no, the worst thing that you can do is to be wrong about what a person can do to you and then you can save yourself. Profile all day long. Somebody said we need to start taking mental health seriously. I don't know what that means. Greg, what does that mean to start taking mental health seriously? What does that even mean? We got more mental health money, services, opportunities, and all of this stuff than ever before, and people are still out of their mind. I think that we need to get back to just calling people crazy. Because I remember Crazy Kathy. Crazy Kathy was just crazy. That's it. It was nothing more to it. Hey, man. Hey, dog, you see Crazy? Hey, watch Crazy Kathy, bro. Nah, man, she was out of her mind today. Kathy was just crazy. It wasn't that she was anything other than that. All of this mental health now, man, what are you talking about? Y'all got therapy and therapists. And you know who I see the most crazy is the women that always keep talking about they didn't went to therapy. No, they got the devil. It's called demons. That's what they tried to replace it with. The same way that they trying to replace God on our money is the same way that they trying to replace us calling a spade how it is. And it's a spiritual battle. And it's called demons.
And they tried to say mental health. No. This is what they identify as. No, they crazy. What are you talking about? We used to go to church. And the less people, the more people fall away from God, the more you're gonna see these type of people running around. The more people fall away from God, the more you're going to see things that are abnormal starting to be normal. And then they told us, hey, no, it just is what it is. What do you mean it is what it is? Well, a woman can be a man. Wait. What's a woman? Whatever you identify as. Nigga, what? All right, listen. I'm not the smartest tool in the tool shed. I'm not the biggest scholar ever. But dog, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that grown man with them hairy legs and that Adam's apple with that penis between his legs is a woman, because that's what he identify as. What? And then they try to make it seem like we crazy because we not going along with the foolishness that they got going. Man, what are you talking about? So now I gotta play crazy because you crazy. So now I gotta play your game. And where did that come from? When did we start doing that? When we start playing the game of the fools? Kids know what they are when they're young. They all know. They know that they're gay. What do you mean? They know that they're gay. I thought that Ewoks was real when I was a little kid, because I used to watch Ewoks Battle of Gandor. I loved Ewoks. I said, man, these things are sweet and they're real. I used to think, so you gonna just justify my delusion? A lot of us put on a cape and we tried to fly when we was younger. And when we hit the floor, we said, wait a minute, we can't really fly. Superman is a lie. I thought a lot of things when I was younger. I thought that women were all like my mother. And boy, was I wrong about that one. I seen a lot of things in my lifetime. I thought that we would be able to time travel. Back to the Future. Marty McFly taught me that. We're not going to continue to sit here and play games with people and act like what they think and how they feel is just real. We can't keep playing this game. You thought you was a Power Ranger? Man, listen, bro. Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. I thought I was a billionaire until I walked on the tarmac and then I got arrested for trying to get on somebody else's plane. I thought that was my plane out there. Guess what? Turns out it wasn't. You thought you was going to get one off on me. You thought wrong. Keep on. You can think what you want, but that don't mean that I got to continue to certify your delusion. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Honestly, man, people walking around like demons, and then we just supposed to be like, oh, yeah, that's it. Crazy. Out of their minds. I love this show. Ara's back says keeping your mental health is priceless. You got to stay connected with God, bro. I'm going to just be honest with you. Bro, somebody said earlier in the show, Coach Chris says, Anton, how do you always stay happy? Because my faith, my belief, and my connection is with God. And so it doesn't matter what my financial state is. It doesn't matter what the state is of the world. It don't matter what they got going on in Detroit versus Manchester versus Chicago. I'm happy because God is happy with me, or I'm happy with my connection with God. In order for you to really have a great mental state, you got to have a great state. You got to have a great relationship with God. You get a phenomenal relationship with God, you're going to have a phenomenal relationship with your wife. You're going to have a phenomenal relationship with your kid. You're going to have a phenomenal relationship with the world. And you got to, and let me be honest with y'all too. It's more than just saying, I love God. You have to have a relationship. In order for you to have a relationship, you have to read the word. In order to read the word, you got to actually go and look at the word. You got to go and learn how to read. You got to get your concordance. You got to study the word. Once you see what the word is, you realize, oh man, this is just my playground out here. This is the playground. How can I not be happy when God has given me everything I need to be successful? Everything that I need is right here, right now. How can I not be happy? Oh man, he talked about you. Y'all get bullied on the internet. Somebody say something negative about you on the internet, and then your mental health is so broken. Oh my God. Guess what I do? God said, hey, turn the computer off for a second so you can go and have some fun. I go and you sulk on the internet. I go jump in a Porsche. What would I ever be complaining about? God gave me a Porsche. I could never think in my life that God gave me a Lamborghini. And I haven't even picked it up yet. It's right there. All I got to do is go and get it. I got to go to a meeting today, but it's right there. Why would I complain? Anyways, shout out to the Shiesty Avengers. Ashton, I appreciate you, big dog. Joseph Burton says she is a literal demon. They will put her under the jail. That area is like the top 10 wealthiest counties in the U.S., and she killed somebody. Shiesty Avenger says, I'll be looking at people family tree too. D just profiling. DJ Kane says, I wish he had the same energy towards something positive. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go into Japan. I want to talk about Japan.
So many issues with the DNA evidence in this case that Christopher Payne's conviction has been overturned and a retrial has been ordered. As he sits in a prison in Japan, Chris is now facing severe health challenges, and his mother tells me she's not sure how much longer he can survive in solitary confinement.
I will keep surviving.
Pressing her palm against the inked outline of a hand.
I'm tired, Mom. But I won't disappoint you.
It's the closest Rhonda Payne has come to a hug from her only child in more than 4 years. The outline traced by Christopher Payne inside his prison cell in Japan, half a world away.
It's the only physical thing that I have other than his letters.
His words are a stark contrast to the young, adventure-loving Crown Point native who moved to Japan in 2013 after teaching himself Japanese as a teenager. He worked several jobs, including as an English teacher. And even found success in mixed martial arts. The mother and son visited each other regularly until November 25th, 2021, when she got a call from a Japanese phone number she didn't recognize.
So I picked the phone up, and it was Chris's boss. Chris wanted me to let you know he's been arrested. I said, is it bad? They said, it's bad. What is it? A woman was attacked.
But here comes the first of several twists. The crime had happened 3 years before. In July of 2018, in the city of Ichikawa, a masked man followed a woman from a train station, threatened her, and sexually assaulted her while speaking fluent Japanese. Afterward, investigators recovered only trace DNA evidence from her mouth mixed with her own after she spat and rinsed her mouth before contacting police. In a completely unrelated incident in February of 2020, Chris was arrested after drunkenly falling asleep in the entryway of a stranger's home and consented to a voluntary DNA swab, not thinking twice about it. home. In 2020, Chris was arrested after drunkenly falling asleep in the entryway of a stranger's home and consented to a voluntary DNA swab.
What Chris doing, man? Chris, what?
Not thinking twice about it. But in November 2021, police said they discovered that the DNA was consistent with that of the woman's attacker.
After that day, life stopped for me. It was over.
So the victim originally reported to the police that she believed he was Japanese. He spoke during the attack and spoke in perfectly unaccented Japanese, which is pretty much impossible to do for a non-native speaker.
Freelance journalist Gavin Blair, who's lived and worked in Japan for more than 2 decades, began covering Chris's case late last year. Not only did Chris not match the original suspect description, the DNA evidence was anything but solid.
They tested Chris's DNA before the crime scene sample, which, as one of his lawyers described it, is like having the answer to the question before you take the test.
It looked like they had been edited in some way.
San Francisco-based forensic DNA consultant Simon Ford told me he reviewed the underlying DNA data and found several significant issues. Not only had the DNA files from the crime scene been edited to look more like Chris's DNA without any disclosure, but Ford discovered the DNA expert appointed by the prosecution also ran the test 34 times.
What he did was he tested it over and over again, trying to hit the right value.
In your opinion, would this DNA evidence meet admissibility standards here in the United States?
Probably not. I think that this evidence really should just be disregarded.
After years of Chris refusing to confess to a crime he didn't commit, these revelations were so significant that Chris's legal team was able to convince the Tokyo High Court to overturn Payne's guilty verdict in December and send the case back to the Chiba District Court for retrial.
So let's see another good one here. Oh,
He was innocent.
I've suffered in silence.
Suspects are held in a prolonged pretrial detention to coerce confessions.
Because you have Japan's judicial system, but you...
Well, let me say this, all right? First of all, I feel sorry for her. Secondly, it sounds like, because I don't know anything about this case, somebody sent it to me and I said, you know what? Let's talk about it on the Millionaire Morning Show. It sounds like he's innocent, despite the drunkenness. That don't mean that you actually raped somebody. It sounds like he's innocent. But third, this is the reason. And the whole point of this story for me is that this is the reason why I love my country. Because I know my country. And it don't mean that people don't get convicted for things that they didn't do here, right? That don't mean that. I just literally watched a movie about Hurricane Chris Carter. Was it Chris something? Whatever it was. The guy that Denzel played in a hurricane. I just learned about it. But as we evolve and as we go forward, I feel more comfortable defending myself in America, but I don't have no control over what goes on in Japan. It's a different law, different judicial system. And it's not just Japan, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Regardless of how you feel, it's innocent until proven guilty here. And you may not get the best legal team, but you got a chance. You got a much better, Reuben Carter. Thank you, ABJ. Reuben Carter. You got a much better chance. I don't have a chance in another country. When we landed in Manchester, one of the things that Rita and Leslie asked me, they said, are we getting a car? They said, why you don't get cars when you go out of town, when you go into a different country? I said, because I don't know their laws. Bro, I'm still confused. I sat there, and maybe I'm just dumb. I sat there for at least 5 to 6 minutes just looking at traffic. Everything is opposite, right? The cars is on the opposite side. Like, so instead of it being you sitting on the left-hand side of the car and driving, it's right-hand side, right? And then not only are they going down the opposite end of the street, it seemed like when they were supposed to be on the opposite ends, sometimes they chose not to be. And so sometimes instead of it going like this, the car will pass and then this one go on this side and then both of them be going the same way. I'm like, and so I was asked, I said, so how did he do that? It's like, oh, because that lane right there allows for you to go on both sides. Both sides of what? Honestly, I was so confused at the laws and the street signs, and then there was some streets that you couldn't drive down at certain times in the day between 6 and 9 in the morning or 3 and 6 in the morning or something like that, because it's illegal when you can get a ticket on that street just driving down it unless you was a cab. So I'm just like, I would rather, they got Uber over there. They literally got Uber. I jump in an Uber, I go anywhere I want to go. Jump in an Uber, I can go anywhere I want to go. And I ain't got to worry about it. I can drink, I can do whatever I wanted to do, I can party, and I'm just going to jump in an Uber. Because I don't want to be responsible for something that I don't know or something that I'm not familiar with in a country that I'm visiting in. I'm not the only country that I got a car in was a Dominican Republic, because I don't trust them. I don't trust nothing in the Dominican Republic. I don't trust the Haitians. I don't trust the Dominicans. I don't trust the Republic. I don't trust nothing in the Dominican Republic at all. And so I got me a car and I said, I'm driving. We driving in the Dominican, baby. I don't trust nothing in there. It's the only place I went and got a car at that's outside of the U.S. I said, nah, I take my chances on myself. I bet on me. But other than that, when I go to another place, anywhere in Mexico, Japan, Manchester, Romania, I'm just going to get a car. And I try to get as close to like the city and the events that I plan on doing. So a lot of times I could just walk to or just catch public transportation or wherever I got to go. But man, when you go in other places, regardless of how long you've been living there, you're subjected to their laws. And whatever they decide is whatever they decide. I remember over in Turks and Caicos, they was arresting people because somebody had made a mistake and left a bullet in their backpack. They was trying to give them 10 years, 10 years. Guess what? That's their laws. You can't tell them what they can and can't do in their country. That girl, the truck driver, that black truck driver, that black female truck driver that was over in Dubai, and she was over there causing a stir. Man, they was trying to lock that chick up. Lock them up. I just don't want to be responsible for that.
Also have a hostage justice system.
The High Court's ruling was an incredible turn of events, but not one that brought him home. Chris was denied bail until his retrial.
It could be still another 2-3 years.
2 to 3 what? See, man, send me home, bro. I bet you he come home after that. If he beat this, I bet you he come home. All of a sudden, he gonna like black women again. Hey, Keisha, are you with me? Are you riding? I bet you he started liking some sisters. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth also. Whenever you see somebody go through something, regardless of how long they've been in another culture, and regardless of how long they've been talking to somebody else, they always get their default settings reset. They always go back to their reset default settings. They do the Jonathan Majors. And this is applicable across all cultures. Jonathan Majors loved him some pink toes. Loved pink toes. Until a pink toe chased him down that street, messed up that Marvel money. The next thing you know, he was like, I love Megan. We work out together. She saved my life. She saved my life. White people do it too. White people that's been dipping in chocolate. White men that's been dipping in chocolate. They get caught up with that black girl. All of a sudden, they right back over there with Taylor and them. Taylor Swift. Everybody go back to their default settings whenever they go through something. And that's just life. It ain't even just with women. It's just life in general. Whenever you get caught up in the streets too much, guess what you do? When things start getting too hectic, or you crashing out over there, and you get caught up down there in Miami, or you thought that you was real sassy and you went to LA, guess what you come home to? Be right back in your home city. Yeah, mama. You welcome home Roscoe. Now you want to be welcome home Roscoe Jenkins. You know, I forgot who I was. You come home. You come home. You rediscover. You know what? I am saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. Wade in the water. Wait. You start coming home. I'm coming home. You know what Diddy gonna do when he get out? He going back to his core. He going back to the roots. Yeah. Everybody, whenever somebody goes through something, they always get back to the core of who they are. The key to life, the key to life is this. This is the key to life, guys. The key to life is this, is to never get so far removed to where you forgot who you were, not where you from, because you're not defined by your hood, you're not defined by your family, you're not defined by, you forget who you are. You forget that this is the reason that we doing this in the first place. And you can evolve, but it doesn't mean that you lose sight of what your original purpose was in the first place. That's why I don't care. Everybody else be like, man, I gotta be bigger, I gotta be better, I gotta do this and that and that. I'll be like, man, give me my chasers. Give me my chasers. You know why? You know why? Because the chasers never believed in none of the BS anyway. They don't believe the BS. They be like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God, Anton, he's about to get divorced. They be like, yeah. That's nice. You don't know Anton. You don't know. Y'all don't know them in real life. Chasers be like, I don't believe it unless I hear it directly from Anton. They don't care. They don't, because I don't care. Anton, come and do this. I'll be like, well, what am I have to go? Am I going to still be able to hang out with my chasers? No. Well, I'm cool. I'm good. Give me my MMS show. Give me the Anton Daniels channel. Give me all of that. That's what happened with Shannon. That's what happened with Shannon. Blew up too fast. He went with, skip his own, skip. He started getting into relationship content. Remember that? Shannon don't go down this path, AD. He started talking about the huzz. Like, Shannon, that's not what you built your platform on. Skip. And he started talking about women, and then he released his Instagram live. Come on, Michelle. Michelle. They did the Instagram. He was starting to tread into different territory. And it was like, Now get your black tail back over there to Nightcap. Get over there to Nightcap. No ESPN. No T-Mobile. You can't take something away from me that I don't care about. You can't take something. I don't care. Because see, you can't humble me because I'm not to be humbled, because I never subjected myself to you. You can't fire me if I don't work for you. Now what you gonna do? I'm just keeping it 100. What these stories should be telling us, Slimmy, is that you got to remember, hey, man, it ain't nothing like the core. Ain't nothing like the good old U.S. You know why? Because I can always come back to Detroit. No matter what I do, I can come back to Detroit and I'm the man in my city. Because I go over to California, you got the little chicks over there in California, they've been tanning. And you go down to Miami and they got all of the fake titties and the fake booty, and y'all you got the Build-A-Bears down there in Miami, and everybody think, yeah, Miami. Welcome to Miami. Go down there to Texas, you start looking around, you can't tell the difference between a man and a woman. You know what? Let me get on back to Detroit. The Detroit girlies, they be down there like, they got their buffs on. Hey, they be natural. Hey, what's up, Anton? I knew you. Where you been at? thinking that you gonna go out of town and you gonna find some girl. I'd be like, you know what? You're right. I feel nothing like the smell of Ford Motor Company. I feel home. I feel home. I feel very much at home. And then the girls, when you go out of town, they say, you know what? Go visit, but don't forget to come back home. Well, you know what? You're right. You gotta know where you can play, baby.
It's not impossible.
Just to get a date or just to get
the retrial until the real trial. That wouldn't be that unusual. Prosecutors have huge amounts of power. Even judges are kind of wary of challenging their power.
So Chris's family.
He has not talked on a phone. He has not hugged a person. He has not done anything in 4 years.
How does that make you feel as a mother, as his mother?
Guess what? Look at this. Regardless of what the outcome is, look at this. Nobody was there for him. None of the Japanese girls, none of his Japanese compadres. And I like visiting Japan. I like visiting Tokyo and all of these places. None of his compadres. You know who was there for him? Mama. Nobody is there for him. At the end of the day, he got one person and one person only that was in his corner trying to help him out, and it was Mama. Ain't nobody coming to his aid. Ain't nobody coming to save him. Ain't nobody trying to get him home. Ain't nobody trying to fund no GoFundMe for his mama. The core, your core is the thing that will keep you. It's hard to find people that's going to hold you down. That's why when I find people that'll hold me down, I hold them down. When I find people that'll hold me down, I hold them down. Listen, I can say something too slim. You can't say nothing about him. Talk about me if you want to. I'll be having to call him something. Hey, Slim, don't pull up on him. Just leave him alone, bro. I'll pull up on him. Molly, hit me. Anton, you want me to? No, Molly, compress. Shut it down. Maybe my people be ready to crash out. Now we can argue. You can't say nothing about him to me. Anton, what about some? I can call Q crazy. You can't call him crazy to me. That's my guy. That's my guy. We can argue like a family. You can't tell me anything about him. That's my guy. I don't play about my people. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll over here. Over here with the Chasers. Come and join the Chasers. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I have to go out here and take care of some business and some work. I want to say shout out to Shiesty Avenger says, can me and Logic borrow the Bag Chasers jet when we make our movie? For sure. He said, King DJ Trick said, F Slim, he tried me last room 9. All right, y'all. So listen, we're going to get back into the groove of things. And I'm fully expecting for that groove to be grooving starting tomorrow. Got to take care of the business. I'm going to give you all an update. I got another video that's dropping inside of the Patreon that y'all going to probably want to talk about. So go and check that out. If you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And I love y'all. All right. See y'all in the morning. Peace.